Paragraph structure is one of the easiest shortcuts, one of the easiest things that you can practice in order to get good at academic writing. Standard paragraph structure is really kind of a mental shortcut. It makes sure that you're going through everything that you need to do in a particular writing assignment, and that you're hitting kind of every piece you need so that readers can follow your logic as they go through. So, standard paragraph structure consists of a few basic pieces: a topic sentence, an introduction to information, an explanation of that information, and then connections between that information, the explanation, and the other ideas you have in your paper, whether that's back to the thesis statement or to a larger section you're working in or to something that you're about to say or whatever that might be. And really, those five pieces are what are going to go into every paragraph, and you only need those five pieces for a paragraph. So let's break that down. Let's say I was going to make an argument that the Red Hulk is a better Avenger than Iron Man. I wouldn't make that argument because I don't really believe it, but I can for the sake of argument. So the Red Hulk is a better Avenger than Iron Man. This is demonstrated in Volume 2 of Brian Michael Bendis's Avengers, whenever we see the Red Hulk and Iron Man and the rest of the Avengers trying to stop the Hood from collecting the Infinity Stones. Throughout the arc of the story, then Red Hulk grows and he tries to atone for the things that he has done in the past and eventually ends up joining the Avengers. On the other hand, Tony Stark, throughout the course of the story, continues to defend some morally questionable choices that he has made. He shows a little bit of growth throughout the overall arc. He ends up roping Captain America into the discussion. But ultimately, he goes back to what he had been doing before the entire thing started. He doesn't show any real substantial growth, any real substantial change toward transparency. And because of that, then I feel that he is at the very least not as good of a hero as the Red Hulk, which means he can't be the best Avenger. So that's my standard paragraph. Let's break that down piece by piece. Step 1, topic sentence. The Red Hulk is a better Avenger, better hero than Iron Man. And that's all that I'm doing in my topic sentence. I'm just broadcasting what this particular paragraph is going to be about. Everything that I do is going to tie back to that particular point. Introduction to the evidence. This is where I'm going to broadcast. I'm about to give you something that came from somewhere else. In that particular case, I said Avengers Volume 2, written by Brian Michael Bendis. I'm saying that I'm appealing to a primary source, the person who actually wrote the Avengers, and I'm going to tell you what happened in that particular volume that's going to support my argument. And then here's my evidence. We see the Red Hulk. We see his character growth. We see his character change. He tries to atone for what he's done. He ends up doing the right thing, as opposed to Iron Man, who doesn't really grow that much, and he doesn't end up doing what a lot of people would consider right. He goes against transparency, which is something that has caused the entire Ultron issue in the first place, and just really, that's not where we're at currently. So here's my explanation for that particular evidence. Now, if I'm going to argue that he's a better hero, this is something that I didn't do in that initial paragraph that I gave you. I need to justify what it is that makes a hero. And in this case, it's someone who embodies the virtues of their culture. That's a literary term. Gilgamesh was a great Babylonian hero because he demonstrated great courage, even though he wasn't necessarily a compassionate or contemplative character all the time. Aeneas is a great Roman hero because he does his duty, whether he's conflicted, whether he wants to, it doesn't matter. He knows what his duty to Rome is, and he does that duty, even though Rome does not yet exist. Now, in this case, embodying the values of their culture means that they're embodying the values of American culture. That's why I use the symbol of America here. And the Red Hulk grows and he changes and he becomes better. And that's a very specifically American ideal. It's not an exclusively American ideal, but that's something that's very much tied into the American dream, is that if you work and you persevere, then you have the opportunity to become better than you were, as opposed to Iron Man, who is not taking that opportunity. And he's in fact violating a core value that we have in America right now. He's, throughout the course of the story, he is creating actions, or he's doing things that are not transparent. He's specifically obfuscating information from the greater public. And at least in the current time in America, that's something that we're not taught. So, based on that literary definition of a hero, based on the evidence that we got from Brian Michael Bendis, then that's what I'm saying makes the Red Hulk a better hero than Iron Man. And that's significant because this is going to be part of a larger essay, like with the other videos in this series, that Captain America is in fact a better hero than Iron Man. And what I'm doing in this particular paragraph is I am not arguing that Captain America is a good hero. What I'm arguing in this one is that Iron Man is once again not a great hero, even whenever compared to really questionable heroes like the Red Hulk. For those of you who read Marvel Comics, then you kind of know the entire history. But for those of you who don't, then, I mean, he has done some really questionable stuff and he's gone way too far in the name of justice. So what I'm trying to do here is not elevate Captain America, but I'm trying to bring down Iron Man. But that's still going to fit into that same argument that we have seen throughout this. And that's going to be what our standard paragraph structure looks like. Now, that is 5 pieces of information that do not naturally connect to each other. I'm not going to lie to you. They just don't. There's no easy way to remember all of those unless, well, basically you're an English teacher and you use them all the time. So I've got 2 simplified structures that I want to teach you here. One is called the meal plan, and the other one is called the pie plan. And these are both mnemonics. You can just remember them as acronyms. MEAL stands for main idea, evidence, analysis, and links. And this is the same basic stuff that we got in the standard paragraph structure. We just dropped out that introduction to evidence. And it's really easy to drop that out because it's something that you guys are going to do pretty naturally anyway. But the topic sentence is the main idea. The evidence and the introduction to it go into the evidence. The analysis and the explanation from the previous version are the same thing. And then links and connections are the same things. So it's just about a one-to-one. We just collapse 2 of those together, and there's no introduction to the evidence as a separate piece in this one. You're just going to do it naturally. The even simpler form is going to be the pie plan, which is point, information, and explanation. Point and main idea, point and topic sentence are going to be the exact same thing. This is an absolutely critical piece to get in because it's going to broadcast what a paragraph is about and it's going to give readers an idea of what it is they need to be looking for. So that shows up in all 3 of them. Now in this one, just like in the meal plan, the evidence and the introduction to that evidence, the information, they collapse together into a single point. What this one does is it collapses those last 2 points together as well. So links or connections aren't a separate thing. They're just part of the explanation. And in this one, the assumption is you're not only explaining how the information proves that topic sentence, but that you're also going through and explaining how this particular paragraph connects to a larger idea. So you're going to be doing the same 5 things no matter what happens. It's just a question of how granular you want to get with breaking them out. If you want to sit down and memorize the full 5, great. If you don't want to do that, use your meal plan as a checklist. If you don't even want to go that far, at the very least, make sure you've got a pie plan as a checklist. Because this is something that's really critical to making your essays feel academic, because it makes sure that you're going through and you're presenting everything that you need to, and you've got a reason for everything in your paragraph, and then you've got your information, and that your ideas are coming first in there, and that you can tie their point into your point. Thank you.